All right, everybody. So today we're going to be taking a look at one of the cringiest channels on all of YouTube. You see, I've covered this guy for years because he's been relevant for years, like since 2016 when the anti-SJW era blew up. This guy originally got big off of making animated videos about crazy blue-haired feminists before it was cool. And then he did it after it was cool for a while, and then it became cool again. And now he's blowing up back into relevancy. Now, if you don't know what FreedomToons is, he is, as you can see here, basically right-wing Cocomelon. That's generally been the term I've used for it. Kamala's accents. And you've got Kamala Harris here as... Well, I mean, here's the thumbnail. You can kind of get an idea of the type of content he makes. He's basically animated stone toss. It seems like a lot of his videos lately have been about Kamala Harris, and all the thumbnails, they depict her as, like, her eyes bulging out and her mouth wrenching open because... or making, like, the Lily Orchard smug face, I guess. A lot of it is kind of banking on the misogyny of the audience, right? Because generally, if you can depict a woman being loud as freaking out or being insane or naggy or bitchy, then you just immediately win with this audience. So when Kamala Harris, say in this interview, is talking about like Trump promising to turn the military on the American people, they can't really engage with that talking point, right? Like, a conservative can't engage with the fact that, like, yeah, Trump is promising to turn the military on the American people and calls them the enemy within if they don't support him. Instead, it's like, isn't she crazy? Doesn't she laugh weird and get loud? Like, we're really dealing with true conservative Cocomelon here. Let's start with Kamala Harris owns Brett Baer.
Thank you for joining us.
This is supposed to be like a parody of the Fox News interview. Speaking of the Fox News interview, we got a segment a little later that's actually about, to a degree, about this Fox News interview. And for a little background, by the way, it's like one of the most Fox News interviews you can possibly imagine. Like, at one point, the interviewer asks Kamala Harris, "Do you still support the idea of taxpayer dollars going to the sex changes of incarcerated inmates?" Like, the whole, like, do you still believe in thing you never, like, believed or said you believed? That, like, people would be mad if you believed, and even if you deny it, the fact that he claimed that she does is all that matters. So it was very much like, despite being a very hostile interview, she cooks him, and so the right is obviously having to immediately jump to doing damage control, and here's an example of that.
Ms. Harris, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Brad.
Thank you.
We'll see how this goes for you.
Mrs. Harris.
Kamala Harris isn't even like this. I feel like if you wanted to depict Kamala Harris in, like, a mean way, you would make her look like a strict, mean teacher, I guess, because you could totally, like, do the misogynistic bit that way, that she's like a mean, strict teacher and she's bitchy. Like, that would be the route you would want to take as a conservative. But I feel like, I guess right now the thing that, like, conservative men really hate is, like, the that's so brat, oh, slay, she ate and left no crumbs. Like, dude, conservative guys fucking despise that shit. So the right has been trying to associate her with that, with, like, Gen Alpha, like, female brain rot stuff. Like, the right has been heavily trying to associate Kamala Harris with that. Like, going all the way back to when conservatives were, and I quote, we're calling Kamala Harris, and I quote, the original Hawk Tuah girl. It's like, dude, you're so desperate to monetize off of, like, the Zoomer relevant shit that you're using it wrong.
How many people do you believe have crossed the border since... Miss Harris. Kamala, please.
Do you guys know what I mean when I say this is right-wing Cocomelon? Didn't Trump literally do that? Yes, Trump has literally done this multiple times. But what I love about this is that, like, obviously this is nothing even close to what happened, but the actual interview is her owning him on that point. He like asks, how many immigrants do you think are in the country? She says the actual number and then brings up that J.D. Vance lied about the number and tripled it in a debate for the sake of making the problem sound worse. But you can't really engage with that because that's just Kamala Harris calling out a popular lie on the right. So instead you make an animation where you scream into the microphone like a retard, and then you make a video where it's actually Kamala Harris doing the retard screaming. But this is FreedomToons screaming like this. Like, he's just made up a scenario, and conservatives, what I love about this, okay, and I've talked about this before, is conservatives literally cannot tell fiction from reality, it seems. Like, and I mean that literally. How many times have you watched a TikTok or a YouTube short from a clip of a movie or a TV show? And I mean, it is clearly from a movie or a TV show. The way it's shot, the scripting, there are famous actors. It's like, this is from a movie. This is not like a camcorder recording of a real thing. And there'll be something that happens. Usually, like, let's say a woman hits a guy and the guy hits her back. And everyone's like, oh my God, how could you do that? And the guy ends up getting fired or something. That'll be like the clip from the movie. All the comments are talking about it like it's real. Have you guys seen this? When you watch like these movie clips that conservatives post that are like meant to support their worldview, the comments from conservatives talk about the characters and the events as if they were 100% real. They say things like, what was going through blank's head when they did this? Or through the blonde lady's head when they did this. And it's like, holy fucking shit. Like, they literally cannot tell reality from fiction, fundamentally. So what I can tell you, what I can promise you, is that the comments of this video are things like, huh, this is the real debate. Yeah, she was screaming. Like they will literally make this the memory that they think of in their mind of that debate, because that is how these people operate. They literally can't tell fiction from reality. Yep, YouTube Shorts is full of cop show clips that the commenters act as though they are real. That's such a great example. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's such a great example. Cop show clips, dude. If anyone can find me an example, please find me an example. It's so good. If you find a YouTube short with a clip from a cop show, especially, ideally if it engages with like ACAB issues, like racial issues and stuff, the comments are all talking about what happens, defending the cop like it's a real thing that happened, and attacking the people they don't like in it as if they're real people. No indication they understand. They just saw a clip from a TV show or a movie. And it makes you wonder, like, what are the ages of these people? But then you click on their accounts, and, like, you can tell they're middle-aged based on their activity and posts. It's fucking insane.
Mrs. Vice President, it's a simple question.
I'm speaking. Excuse me, I'm speaking.
I apologize. All right, well, I'm just gonna say it. She destroyed him. Oh my gosh.
Right? Oh golly, he's so embarrassed.
I bet those Republicans are...
What I love about conservative, like, comedy animation stuff, like, this is the original, like, what's it called? The New Norm, that one show, and the, what was the other one? I Want Normal Beer. There was that one, and there was the other one. Fuck. What was the other one? That other, the other conservative animated show. Mr. Burcham. This is the reason why Mr. Burcham and that other show couldn't work, was because even though it was really low effort and low budget at the end of the day, it was still too high effort and high budget. At the end of the day, conservatives want slop content. Their politics are slop. You don't need to deliver those slop politics in a non-slop way. You don't have to try and unslop conservative propaganda. The point and the success of it is in the speed of dissemination and the lack of accountability and the lack of need for research or caring about reality. So you can just say whatever you want. You can just claim whatever you want. If you want to claim like Kamala Harris is bad, you don't need to make a video explaining why Kamala Harris's policies are bad. You can make a 1 minute long MS Paint animation where she screams half the time in a single like drawn frame, so you don't have to animate her in a bunch of different ways, and then you just make like a quick video upload and it gets 1 million views. The point of conservative content, what makes it succeed, is that it's slop. The politics are slop, so should its way of delivery. And that's what benefits it so much. And that's why FreedomToons has stood the test of time. He leans into his content being slop. There's no substance. There's not even much runtime to it, despite there being so little substance. It's not like condensed content where it's like very little filler. It's just, despite it only being a minute long, there's nothing of substance here. I guess the criticism, the only substantive criticism is like, Kamala Harris screamed and freaked out and foamed at the mouth during that debate. And then CNN said that it was real good and she won. And also, CNN is boring. ZZZNN. Though, to be fair, that is a pretty conservative criticism of a news source, that it's boring and that's why it's bad. Like, news source bad because it's boring. They care too much about the truth. Why aren't they reporting on Haitians eating pets? This is boring. What, we're talking about policy? Fucking bzzz. Come on, man. Yeah. Anyway, the next video is called How Kamala Can Still Win, which is a hilarious title when you consider that she is, like, currently winning, like, based on the polling right now. So, okay, man. Huff your copium.
Welcome back, I'm Dr. Mac. After declining the polls, Team Kamala is sparing no time trying to get those swing state votes, with a new strategy that's allowing Kamala to host rallies in Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina all at once. The Kamalatronic.
So, like, as I said, it's Cocomelon. There are no arguments made. That's why it's so successful. You can't debunk a video that makes no arguments. It's just sort of, here is like literal children's level humor about the left. And that's what they like. Have you seen the kind of shit conservatives like make go viral on Facebook? Because that's what this guy's biggest audience is. He's big on YouTube, don't get me wrong. But do you want to know what got him big? Do you want to know who shares his content and got him huge? Facebook boomers. It's why his videos are so short as well. They're the perfect length to be reposted on his Facebook. And Facebook and now Twitter are where he's gotten huge. There's a reason why the humor here is so low quality, so bottom of the barrel. It's so like cringe. It's because it's designed for the Facebook boomers who post like those AI generated Jesus images where like Jesus has 4 legs and there's like a bunch of people with no arms like bowing to him, and they post it and they say, "Oh my God, I looked at this and my day got better," and then like a bunch of emojis, and then it gets 1 million likes on Facebook. That is the audience that shares and has built up. That is the foundation FreedomToons is built on. Know that as you watch this. That is why the humor is so cringe and so juvenile. It's for like the weird juvenile car rant boomers on Facebook. That's the big audience that consumes this stuff.
Raised in a middle-class family, our lawns were very important to us. I'm speaking.
Kamala, we love you!
I was raised in a middle-class family. Our lawns were very important to us.
Man, it was just like seeing the real thing.
Oh, blue
This is
hair.
my 3rd Kamala rally this week, and I've got to say
Earring.
it's the best one I've been to.
I can confidently say this was her
For those who don't know, this guy blew up. Like, his art style has gotten a little more refined over time, but he still keeps it purposefully kind of like low effort because it's not meant to look like there was any effort put into it. It's also, here's a big part of conservative content too. You can't look like you care too much. So that's why a lot of the entire brand as well of FreedomToons, I want to talk more about this because it's an interesting analysis of like conservative branding. A big part of conservative branding is irreverence, down to the guy's design. Let me actually show you what I mean by that, like the irreverence. FreedomToons. So one of my favorite things about FreedomToons and his branding was the way he designed his character. This is his OG, like, branding, by the way, from back in the day. Here's, like, the blue-haired SJW baby wielding all the genders or whatever. Anyway, this is his character. This is his, like, self-insert character. This, like, millennial dude with, like, shaggy hair that looks like he hasn't brushed it because he's just so depressed and constantly, like, frazzled at the ridiculousness of things. But he's also got, like, supposedly has my jawline. You know, with his little, like, cheekbone thing and the stubble and stuff and the he's supposed to be dressed like sort of a... Just he's like designed to be like the ultimate representation of how guys on the internet think of themselves. Like, yeah, I'm just this cool dude, normal, and I'm all befrazzled because these crazy SJWs are ruining our society and our culture is falling and we live in a clown world. But I'm really just irreverent and I'm just surrounded by all this crazy, you know? It's like it's such an effective way of branding for conservatives. It's so consistent. Zan, I found a really good clip. Okay, yeah. So that thing I mentioned earlier where conservatives can't tell fiction from reality, here is a clip. I mean, you can just tell based on what you see here, very evidently from a TV show. Let's read the comments. This one seems to be aware. Plot twist, that's aware. I love the way he shut her down. He was so polite. This is how people should speak to each other. There's a good one. This is not one-to-one what I meant, but, you know, this could be someone who recognizes it's a movie, but it's weird. That's my kind of cop, both polite and to the point. He is absolutely right. Real situation or setup. He makes an excellent point. Uninterrupted stress destroys situational awareness. I retired from Fire/EMS last year, and I saw more than one person like that. One lady pulled into our parking lot. I love how he puts her in her place just with straight logic and facts. That's by far the most respectful roast I've ever heard. As a retired officer, I got this all the time. Many shifts, blah, blah, blah. That was a beautiful and respectful way to shut her the hell up. While you're standing around there, crimes are beat. Cops mind almost immediately. It's one of them. He was too nice. At my age, I've learned that people like her don't deserve that much of an explanation. This person recognizes the actor Michael Cutlitz. That's nice. This is he's actually in The Walking Dead, by the way. For those doing the watch parties, you'll see him show up and be like, "Yo, he's a cool character." You handled her with such grace. Thank y'all for your service. Be safe out there. That is it. 1,000 likes too. That is the comments I was talking about. This is what I mean when I say conservatives do not know how to separate reality from fiction. This is a fucking clip. Here, let me just mute it so I don't get copyrighted and play it. This is clearly from a TV show. Does this look like it's supposed to be like some camcorder recording or something? I guess it's a little shaky, but like this is an actor, Michael Cutlitz, who's in the fucking Walking Dead. This is a clearly scripted and made up scenario. And these comments, this officer knows how to destroy Karens without thinking twice. It's like, have you seen this? Have you seen this trend of like conservatives online commenting on these fucking clips on like shows and movies, clearly not recognizing that it's not real and that it's a TV show? They comment on it, like sometimes even directing the comments of the poster as if they're the character from the fucking movie. This is the people we're dealing with, guys. When you wonder, like, how the fuck do people watch FreedomToons and not recognize that they are literally having slop drained through a funnel into their ear directly into their brain? This is why. There are people who watch movie clips and leave comments directed at the characters in the movie because they can't tell it's not real. And you can tell from the grammar and the way that was posted, that was not a child commenting. That was an adult, and almost certainly a conservative based on their "we love the blue" and all that. That was an adult conservative who simply could not tell that was a clip from a fucking TV show. This is the level of literacy, both political and literary and media-wise, that conservatives have.
Best rally yet, and I go to these for a living.
And the Kamalatronic doesn't just do rallies. She also does interviews.
Guys, Guys, Kamala Harris is so bad, she doesn't even have supporters. They're paying people to go to the rallies. This is copium over the fact that Kamala rallies keep being so much larger than Trump rallies. They've been coping about this super fucking hard. Obviously, this is like the ultimate copium video, like Kamala's dominating in the polls, and they're like, how Kamala can still win, as if like the left is claiming this. And then he puts out his video where it's like, yes, actually, they're paid to be there. It's all just a sort of way of acknowledging why it's not an own that Kamala's rallies are always larger than Trump's.
Reviews.
Because remember, the enemy is both strong and weak. Kamala Harris is a threat you have to get out there and vote against, but she's also weak and losing and has no chance. And it's like the libs are panicking because she's losing, but also it's a rigged election if Trump loses. And also if he wins, because if it's a rigged election, he wins. He won even harder. But if he loses, it was rigged, and there's no way he lost fair and square.
Kamala, what's your plan for America?
I was raised in a middle-class family. Our lawns were very important to us.
It's even allowing her to finally visit the border. Cocomelon boasts 5 automated responses and 3 theater kid gestures. And even campaign staffers are struggling to tell it apart from the real thing.
I've been working with Kamala every day for the last 2 months, and it's uncanny. It's like I'm seeing double.
Oh, that's remarkable. I couldn't tell the two apart for a week and a half. It started making decisions for the campaign. They were better.
Truly incredible. Here.
What's really neat, and this is really what I mean when I talk about like why FreedomToons is effective propaganda. We've already demonstrated that conservatives in a large amount will literally see clips from TV shows and movies and comment, clearly indicating they cannot tell that that's not reality and that was a clip from a fictional piece of media. And so conservative propaganda can be so effective because you can make a skit or an animation that creates a completely fake scenario, but the conservatives will watch it, and then they will base their opinion on the individuals based on what they saw in that fictional scenario. Like, conservatives watch these FreedomToons videos, they see Kamala, like, screaming in the FreedomToons video, and they're like, fucking Kamala Harris, this is why she's not getting my vote.
With us, we have the creator of the Cocomelon to discuss it. Would you mind telling us a bit more about your controversial creation?
Mac, the Cocomelon is a very powerful piece of technology. This is the kind of machinery that could sway an election.
It's being rumored that it even outperformed Kamala herself on a verbal IQ test.
Indeed it did.
Incredible, and I've read that the Cocomelon even smelled.
Was that a race thing? Maybe I'm looking too deep into that, but was that?
It's like the vice president.
Yes, that was very important to President Biden.
And how is the Trump campaign responding to this?
Well, Cocomelon is certainly giving him a run for his money, but Trump has a few tricks up his own sleeve. With the Trumpogram, he's famously using to campaign in multiple places at once.
Kamala Harris, yourself. I saw her do it. You'll just keep this up and you'll have no ammo left for the Civil War.
Yes, well, it appears the arms race...
Jesus Christ. To be fair, Trump has had several assassination attempts towards him. He is that shitty. He has had, I think, the most assassination attempts any president has ever had. Man, he must be a great guy. The American people must love him.
This has begun with the Harris campaign aiming to keep its technological lead, with the Cocomelon Model 7 scheduled to be released in just 4.
Trust me, the second it's revealed that Harris won the election, we're immediately getting the animated video of, like, Harris in, like, a polling office filling out ballots for herself. And, like, sneaking them in, and it's like, yeah, that's what happened. Trust me, the copium will be immediate. Within 48 hours of Kamala winning, the video of her stealing the election and, like, filling out ballots herself or something, it's going to be that low effort. It's going to be like, guys, yeah, I bet Kamala won, because she was in every polling station filling out the... Oh, he could follow it up. The Kamala bots could be set up for when she wins. Because then his video is going to be her having all of the Kamala bots fill in ballots at the polling stations for her. He's setting up. The Kamala bot is literally set up because he knows she's going to probably win. It's literally set up for when she wins so he can do his she faked her win video as copium. Already setting it up. In the video called How Kamala Can Still Win.
Days. It boasts 7 automated responses and functions without the pull string.
Yes, that's the tentative release date, but we're...
Yeah, it's looking pretty likely Kamala wins. Obviously, early polling and early voting has a pretty strong lean Democrat, so it's possible that, like, on Election Day votes, big red wave or something. It could happen, but it's looking less likely by the day. Like, it's not looking good for Trump. He could still pull through in enough swing states, but it's already basically confirmed he can't win the popular vote. Like, even Republicans are outright saying, well, yeah, he's not going to win the popular vote, but he can still win the states. I'm not joking, by the way. Like, Republicans aren't even contesting that Trump cannot win the popular vote already. Like, they already admit he's going to lose the popular vote. I'm not even making this up or joking. I've seen a lot of Republicans arguing and trying to defend Trump's chances of winning. They don't even try to argue that he can win the popular vote still, because he's just very much, I think it's literally impossible for him to, at the rate that votes are coming in for. He can still pull through and win the election, but it would have to be a 2016 repeat where he still loses the popular vote. He cannot win the popular vote. It's not going to happen.
We're hoping it will be around then.
4 days? What's the holdup?
Mrs. Harris, the line is, you didn't fall from a coconut tree. You've said it before. I just need one clear take.
Okay. You didn't fall from...
Okay, take 729.
How many videos do you think this guy has made where he's attempted to criticize Kamala Harris, but because the only thing he has on her is, like, drawing her as Indian, which he did in one of his videos. That was one of the thumbnails from, like, 5 videos back. How many times has he, like, laughed insanely, like maniacally into his mic so that he can be like, oh, yeah, this is totally Kamala. But it's literally him. Like, that's him laughing maniacally and screaming and then saying, this is Kamala. Like, you realize this is the same as, like, shitting your pants and then saying, heh, the libs do that. And then everybody who sees it going, yeah, they do. You're so cool for that. That is literally the level of, like, name-calling and teasing the right has on the left in Kamala Harris. It's like, it's genuinely that low bar. Because remember what audience this content is made for. We are talking about, like, barely sentient, like, actual, like, NPCs that are meant to fill out the world and make it feel less empty. Like, I as I get older, I genuinely wonder if there are certain people that are just fucking NPCs. Like, we're the right, in a way, correct about the whole NPC thing, but is it, like, hilariously ironic that they're talking about themselves? Because these people have nothing but canned dialogue. They can't tell fiction from reality. They have, like, no original thoughts in their head. They live, like, God, have you met, like, your average conservative? They live the most routine lives of boringness and nothing, mundanity. Like, they genuinely feel like they're programmed NPCs just meant to fill out the world at times, right? Like they're literally just enemy NPCs. They've got canned dialogue, and, like, you can predict everything they're going to do because you've ran into 1,000 of them before, and there's no real uniqueness. Like, this is genuinely how it feels to be a left-wing figure at this point after so long. It feels like I've been playing a video game for years, and I've started to understand the NPCs, like, code and how they behave, and it's like, okay, so if I come from this direction, it's going to dodge this way, and then it's going to attack, and if I dodge twice, then it's going to miss and stagger, and then I can just kill it instantly, and I win the fight. Like, when you know a game that well, that's how it feels with conservatives at this point. It's like, are they literally NPCs? Why can I literally predict exactly what they're going to say before they say it? Like, why do I know? Oh, when this thing happens, they say that. Like, here's an example. Let me think of something that could happen. Zombie apocalypse happens, right? Let's say a zombie apocalypse occurs. If it happens in the South, like if the outbreak occurs in the South, conservatives will 100% claim it was a bioweapon attack by China or the Democrats to kill Republicans. If it happens in Democrat cities or, like, big cities like California, New York, they'll claim that it's divine punishment from God to punish progressives and gays and trans people, and they'll say it's divine and it's, like, wrath from God. If it happens in, like, the Midwest or somewhere really isolated where it takes a while for the outbreak to spread and affect the majority of people in America, they'll claim it's a hoax like they did with COVID, and they'll just use the idea that it's fake to get as much attention and clout as they can being contrarian until they can't deny it anymore, and then they'll amend their position to find a way to blame the left once it's no longer deniable. This is what would happen if a zombie apocalypse occurred in America. That is what conservatives would do. I would bet both my fucking nuts that is what they would do, because I'm that goddamn sure. They're NPCs. Give me a scenario, and I'll tell you exactly how the right at large will respond to it. They are genuinely non-sentient at times. That is why I'm able to show you a fucking video that's a clip from a show and read dozens of comments with thousands of likes from adults who are clearly conservatives, directing their comments, thanking the actor/character, betraying a character for their behaviors in a fictional scenario. Because that is what these people are like. That is their brain power. Imagine being on that level. Are you even human at that point? Maybe I'm getting into eugenics territory, but fuck, man. If anyone's deserving in like having eugenics applied to them, it's got to be conservatives, bro. Like, holy shit. Like, Jesus. I swear to God, the Republicans in this country are lowering the national IQ at least 30 points. They've got to be.
Well, the reality is that Kamala voters simply don't need 7 responses. They're more than satisfied with the 5, and so it may be a waste of resources. In fact, in order to demonstrate, I've bought...
Oh my gosh, Madam Vice President,
No, don't be deceived. This is simply a Kamalatronic.
I was raised in a middle-class family.
Incredible. I can ask it anything?
Of course, it's not like it's really her.
Kamalatron, why can't you fix any of the things you've promised to fix, given you're basically the acting president anyway?
Given you're basically the acting president anyway. Mind you, no, she's not. The vice president does not have the powers of the president. And also, as much as they want to claim that Biden is literally dead and being, like, puppeted around, you realize this is what that entire talking point hinges on, right? You guys know the idea that, like, Biden is, like, sleeping all day or dead and, like, Kamala Harris is basically doing all the work? The same talking points that, like, were used to, like, oust Biden and put Kamala in as the new nominee. The right has used this talking point for years to push the idea that Kamala Harris is already the president and is getting nothing done. When Vance or Trump or any of the other Republican pundits suggest that Kamala Harris isn't doing anything because she's basically already the president, that's the conspiracy they're basing it on. It's literally that criticism of her hinges on a conspiracy that Biden is dead, basically, and Harris is the acting president. They literally believe that. Yeah, they literally think I'm not going to vote. Well, they justify not voting for Kamala Harris by saying, well, she's basically already president. She's not getting anything done. She's not, but why pretend to care about the truth when you don't, right?
Wait, this can't be happening. The robot isn't programmed to even be able to understand it.
Oh, no!
What?
How could I made this mistake? I brought the wrong one!
The wrong what? The wrong robot?
No, it's her! I brought her!
What?
Damn, dude. Man, okay, are you guys ready to read some brain rot comments now? Let's read the comments. I was built in a middle-class factory, laughing, crying emoji. You losers keep this up and you'll have no ammo left for the Civil War. LMFAO, and then like 15 exclamation points. Quote, you losers keep this up and you'll have no ammo left for the Civil War. Laughing, crying emoji, laughing, crying emoji. Oh my God, this got me dying. Her number one saying is Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. She has severe TDS. If you don't know what TDS is somehow, it means Trump derangement syndrome, which is what conservatives call it when you don't like Trump. There's just something so funny about the TDS accusations expanding to the person running against Trump. Ah, yes, you are running against him as candidate for the United States and you don't like him or you disagree with him. Man, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. Anytime someone busts out the term TDS, please challenge the... I fucking hell. I immediately challenge anyone who uses the term Trump derangement syndrome to a debate right away, dude. Immediately. Because it's such a tell that they don't have any fucking brain cells to work with. It's such an easy layup. The second they use the term TDS, it's like, oh, we're talking about someone who's got nothing but canned shit you've heard before. Easy debunks. Recently worked at a polling station. How recently? The last election was 2 years ago. And the strangest thing happened. We got a mail-in ballot from my grandma, voting Democrat. This was very strange, as he had... my grandpa voting Democrat. This was very strange, as he had voted Republican in every election he ever participated in. Stranger yet was that he had died a year beforehand. Bum, bum, bum! That totally happened. Keep this up and you won't have any bullets left for the Civil War is funny and sad at the same time. This was her best rally yet, and I go to these for a living. Gold, laughing, crying emoji. Inaccurate. She now gets angry when asked a normal question. This cartoon had so many banger bits. The going to rallies for a living, Trumpogram, verbal IQ test, the smell. It was hilarious from start to finish. Quote, if you keep this up and you won't have ammo left for the Civil War, virtual Donald Trump. Laughing, crying emoji, laughing, crying emoji, laughing, crying emoji, laughing, crying emoji, laughing, crying emoji. You guys know what I mean now when I say we're dealing with non-sentient, like, NPCs, right? Like, a good amount of these comments could literally be bots. And it wouldn't surprise you. There's no intelligence or life behind these comments. It doesn't feel like a human is posting these, right? Like, it feels like a parody, like an alien's parody of the worst people are posting these. And I go to these for a living, more than just a phrase, a truthful statement. I can ask it anything. Of course, it's not like it's actually her, lol. I've grown to really like this take on Kamala, lol. I like when she explodes. You can still clearly see screws and springs, implying the real one is a robot too. Rumor has it that the Kamalatronic Model 7 will include the iconic "what can be unburdened by what has been" phrase. A whole 7 automated responses? That's more than Kamala has. That's hilarious from a conservative. Dude, I love reading conservative brain rot comments, especially when so many of them are, like, projection. Good God, dude. I'm so sorry for exposing you to this genuine brain rot, this absolute cringe. It is, for me, hard to watch. Like, legitimately hard to watch these. It's really bad stuff. But I feel that breaking it down on a very nitty-gritty level and explaining why it's such effective propaganda and why every choice is made, it's almost like therapeutic. Like, okay, you know that little cringy detail? There's meaning behind that, right? Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment, then please consider leaving a like. It really does help the channel, my videos, my streams out a whole lot. Every thumbs up in real time forces YouTube to push my content out to more people, and it really does help. You can comment down below as well to, sort of boost the effect of the like. I really do appreciate that too. And you can subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video, because believe me, if you don't, they won't. And finally, if you want to follow my social medias, linked down below in the description, I highly recommend it, including joining my fan Discord server. It's the main hub of my community and fan base, and I host game events, call-in streams, watch parties, and announce all my new uploads and streams there. Finally, if you want to directly support me financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch at the Streamlabs link down below. But regardless of how you support me, even if you're just a lurker chilling and watching the stream, thank you for watching, no matter what, and have a good one. I hope to see you again.